So, 3 ways to balance your hormones naturally. This is an important topic, and today I am with a hormone expert. The doctor's in the house, and we're going to have 3 great suggestions for you coming up right now. Okay, we're back now with these 3 ways that are going to really help you to balance your hormones naturally. And it's probably going to end up being actually a little bit more than that. Again, I'm with Dr. Moshe Dekel, board-certified OBGYN. Dr. Dekel, thank you so much for being with me.
My pleasure.
All right, let's just jump right into it. Here's the number 1 way to help balance your hormones naturally. What would that be, Dr. Dekel?
The first and the most easiest way to do would be to actually give you the hormones that you need, that are called bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So for instance, for women who go into the menopause, 2 main hormones are going down, estrogen and progesterone. So you can get drugs out there that mimic to some degree what natural hormones do, but they carry a lot of side effects with them, and I would not recommend it. Okay, and I've had, as Jonathan said, 20 years experience in conventional medicine and now 20 years in holistic medicine. What I prescribe to my patients is natural estrogen and natural progesterone in order to ease the transition into menopause, protect your bones, protect your heart, protect your brain, prevent vaginal dryness, and also get your libido where you want it to be. For men, I do prescribe natural testosterone. Okay, testosterone is very important for men. It declines about 1% to 2% per year from the age of 25 and on. So the majority of men at the age of 60 work on maybe 40, 50, or 30% on what they used to have when they were 20 years of age. So testosterone is important. I explain to them how they take it. You can take it in the form of cream. You can take it in the form as an injection. In addition, I also help them with everything else they need to do in order to transition into what we call andropause, which is really male menopause in a way. So that will take care of their needs as far as testosterone goes. Let's talk a little bit about DHEA. DHEA is an adrenal hormone. It's important for men and women. It's preserves muscle mass, preserves bone. It's anti-cancerous. And it's also very important as part of taking care of stress.
You hear a lot about adrenal fatigue in people. Is it generally that DHEA is low, it's high, or could it be either way when someone's experiencing adrenal fatigue?
Right. Excellent question. In fact, in the beginning stage of adrenal stress, DHEA would go up. Okay. Then as the adrenal get exhausted, actually DHEA is going to be down. And DHEA declines with age as it is. So if we do nothing, it will decline to the point that we may have some issues with it. So DHEA support is very, very important. Another natural bioidentical hormones that I do prescribe a lot is Armour thyroid, or Naturestoid, or Westroid. Is more different names of naturally derived thyroid hormone from glandular that it comes from animals. That's very important because an epidemic of underactive thyroid is upon us, and a lot of people walk out there with no energy, brain fog, and on and on and on. And the problem is that their blood test may be normal. And they say, you can actually say to your doctor, I read these symptoms are related to low thyroid. And the doctor will say, well, you know what? Your values are normal. You don't need it. Yet, when I assess the situation from a different perspective, and I feel that hormone support is necessary, and I put you on the Armour, in addition to supporting the adrenal, very important, you will have a different life. In other words, to the better. You're going to go back to what you used to be 10, 20, 30 years ago, if that is needed. And we find out if you do, and if you do, we will give it to you.
And people chronically with cold hands, cold feet, is this an indication perhaps that thyroid is an issue?
Absolutely, because the thyroid is also the thermostat of the body. So in other words, it actually tells every cell in the body how much energy to make and also how much heat to generate. So all of us who are low in temperature, and the best way to do is take a temperature in the morning. If it's below 97 or definitely below 96, and some of us walk around with 95.5, your thyroid is not up to par and needs to be fixed. But remember one thing, we never ever just support the thyroid. We need to support the adrenal. Very, very important.
Okay, and we're going to get to the second way to balance hormones naturally, but I've got to ask you before we get off the topic. Bioidentical hormones, I can hear the voices out there. People worried about cancer risk. Is this really natural? I don't know about that, Dr. Dekel. How do you respond to those people who are just genuinely curious? I mean, if they're scared, nobody should do anything that they're really scared of. But what do you say to those people?
I think it's a great question, and the antidote to fear is knowledge. So here we are trying to give you some knowledge to understand that studies have shown that women who take estrogen, progesterone bioidentically in the right manner will have less cancer, breast cancer, uterine cancer, than women who take nothing. So the myth that natural bioidentical hormones increasing cancer is a myth. However, prescription drugs, on the other hand, do carry side effects. Cancer is one of them. So big difference between bioidentical and prescription drugs.
And no matter what you're choosing, no doubt, I know if you're watching us already this far, you know that hormonal imbalances really set the stage for all kinds of problems, and that's not a way you want to live anyway. So number 2, Dr. Dekel, what would be the second way that we can help people to balance their hormones naturally?
Right. Well, we can take supplementation. Various supplements help us with various glands. Like, for instance, cordyceps, rhodiola, ashwagandha help both the adrenal and the thyroid. And again, when I prescribe those supplementations, as we spoke about before, like Armour, etc., I always support the gland, both adrenal and thyroid, with natural supplementation, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that your own adrenal and thyroid continue to produce what they need to do instead of going, okay, I'm getting it for free, I'm going on vacation, I'm not going to do anything about it. So that's very, very important. And that's the second way I would support.
How do you know, for those people who are questioning, how much should I take, and is there any danger for taking too much, or, how do you answer that?
Right. Well, I've had experience with these for 20 years. I use nutraceuticals that are pharmaceutically grade, good manufacturing product, in other words, made in the highest level of efficiency and accuracy. And yes, you need to know what to give and how to give, but when you go to a holistic physician or practitioners that know what they're doing, they're going to make sure that they're not going to give you too much.
Okay, no doubt we're not going to be covering today meditation, exercise. There are a lot of different ways that you can help yourself to feel like you're more stable hormonally, but post those comments down below. That's what I'm getting at right now. Before we get to the third way to help you to balance your hormones, this community is all about helping people out. So if you have a strategy that's been helping you, or you have a question about this topic, be sure to post it down below in the comment area. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, Dr. Dekel, number 3, what have we got for everybody?
Well, let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is stress. Okay? Obviously, all of us have stress. The question is how we deal with it.
I don't have stress.
You don't, not at all. No, except from you.
Sorry.
I know, not a problem. So the stress affects the adrenal. The adrenal gland, we have 2 of them. They're just above the kidney. And they're responsible for what? Stress response. Okay, they're supposed to what? Save us when we have fight or flight, when we're facing danger. So once we have continuous stress, we have hormones like cortisol, like adrenaline, noradrenaline, that are pouring into the system, not when they need to be, because the stress is continuous, yet we don't need it continuous basis. So what happens is we're having hormones that are actually can increase blood pressure, increase certain side effects that these hormones can create if they're there unnecessarily.
You can make your heart pump faster too,
Absolutely.
where you think like you're being chased by a tiger. And the reality
not.
is it's just something inside of you that's gnawing away at you. It's really driving all these markers up and causing tremendous stress on the body.
Right. So I'm going to give just 2 quick examples of how we can actually deal with stress. One of them is called EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. Emotional Freedom Technique is actually tapping technique on various points, energetic points, that actually can relieve the stressful situation within 20 seconds. Okay? So
That's like sounds really too hard to believe, right?
I know, but it does work. It does work. So a few of the points that we talked about, the EFT, are the following. You have a point right here and just a little bit below it and just at the bridge of the nose, under the nose, on the mental promontorium, okay, on the chest bone, and then you go laterally to the ribs and one more below. Okay.
Just one more below the last rib cage.
Yeah, right. No, just along the last one. And you just step a few seconds on each point. Okay. And it works. The other way would be actually biofeedback. Deep breathing, 7 seconds breath in, and 7 seconds breath out.
So slowing down and being much more deliberate about how much air we're taking in, holding it, letting it out in a much more slow fashion.
Right. And try to do this. Try to take a breath for 7 seconds. Not easy, because we're not trying to do this. We're breathing shallow. Okay. And also it's important to do what? Abdominal breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, not upper chest. Upper chest is usually stress
When we're
breathing.
born, most babies, of course, the healthiest babies, you see
The
that
belly.
all the time, folks. The belly's going up, belly's going down, and the chest isn't moving at all.
Right. It's all diaphragmatic breathing. So if you take those 2 simple method to do, which is the EFT and the slow breathing biofeedback in a way, you will be able to get rid of the stressful episode in a matter of minutes.
And you've got to pick out what's right for you. Obviously, for me, I don't use EFT. Listening to the doctor here, you have to find what's right for you. I absolutely, over the years, have seen how breathe play, it's the way I've learned it in my athletic background, absolutely changes the way you can physically perform day to day. It can slow down your heart rate. It can lower your blood pressure. It absolutely will completely change the way you feel on a nervous system level. If you can slow down your breathing, take that deeper breath in, breathe out, and slow it down, it'll have a great effect on your stress levels,
Absolutely.
bringing them down, which will obviously help to balance your hormones. Dr. Dekel, people want to find you. Where can they find you on the internet?
On the internet, it's drdekel.com, and just do a search. They can find me, or they can...
And that's Dr. Dekel.
Dekel, DRDEKEL.com.
All right, we'll have that link for you as well. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with your friends and family. For those who feel need to balance their hormones a little bit more and just like have a little less stress in their life. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody.
Take care.